Hello and welcome to Star Trek Reliant. I'm the DM for this episode, Bazag, and be very, very quiet. I'm hunting rabbits. But while we're hunting rabbits, let's introduce some people. Let's start with our first officer.
Oh crap, that's me. Hi, I'm Dr. Eli O'Connor.
And how about our captain and associated characters? Duncan, that's you.
Duncan.
He said he was off getting a drink.
Oh, sorry.
No. Hold on, guys. I'm on push to talk, and that only works if I've clicked the browser. So, hello everyone, and welcome to Reliant, where technical issues are currently a thing of the present. So, good luck, everyone.
Yay, technical difficulties. Please stand by. And while we're standing by, Kara.
What, you mean you don't have Discord on the top all the time? I do. Now what, am I doing it wrong?
I've got it as a browser, and I also have, the sound thingy on the side. I've made things complicated.
Well, someone who isn't complicated, Churog.
This is Chorog, the security officer, target wrangler, and asset relocation specialist.
And we do have D.B. Wells incoming, but he's not quite here at the moment, so we'll introduce him when he gets in. So don't forget, we have an email, reliant@starbasegc.com, and send us an email, send us feedback, send us fanfics, pictures, whatever you want to send us. We're happy to receive them. So, with all that done, with all the technical difficulties hopefully out of the way, let's start today's session. Today, the Reliant is still orbiting the Dwemer homeworld. Reliant has been the first contact point for the Dwemer, and basically being the conduit by which Starfleet Diplomatic Corps has been interacting. Reliance itself is just being quiet. It's all, high-level diplomatic discussions, which basically the Reliant has been used as essentially a relay station. So, in the meantime, does anyone have any scenes aboard the Reliant?
Everything cuts out to Setsa and Kara's quarters for a moment. And then Kara is looking in a mirror somewhere and notices the lines on the plates on her face. She mashes a finger against one and kind of wipes it across, wondering what's up. She blinks an electronic eye and turns away from her reflection and walks down a glass hallway. Down below, far below, there's an area of mountains and valleys filled with trees, all under the glass under her feet as she is thousands of feet in the air. She walks along towards a blast door at the end of the hallway. As it opens, a white light overtakes her vision, and then she sits up in bed, suddenly awake. That dream again. What is that? She grumbles, spending a moment thinking, and then hops out of bed and gets dressed, leaving the room.
Alrighty then. Now,
Oh, dang it. Hold on. I was doing some push-to-talky stuff.
No, I heard Setsa apparently moaning and half awake, but...
I was narrating after that, so I'm just going to go back to my usual method. Okie dokie. So, anyway, Setsa was just in her bed, just groaning and not having a best night's sleep with the regeneration cycle.
Captain Graves, you get priority 1 call from Starbase Magellan.
Graves nods. He's in his ready room, cup of coffee in one hand, cinnamon roll in the other. Kind of wipes a little bit of the cinnamon roll off on his uniform. Looks down, sighs, and just hits the comm button for the message that's coming in.
The message is pretty much not a distress call, but an emergency response the U.S.S. Cerberus has, part of the Federation's contribution to the Alliance Exploration Initiative, has one gone missing and has not called in to response. Their last known coordinates are included in the message, and seeing as the Reliant is the closest vessel, contact has been made with the Dwemer to pause things while the Reliant goes out searching.
Graves nods, sighs again, figuring this isn't a terribly auspicious day, but he's happy to kind of get back on the road after days upon days of diplomatic talks, and what ultimately turned out to be rather sort of by-the-books first contact affair once the conclave issues were sorted out. So he stands up, tugs his uniform, tries not to notice the cinnamon roll on his uniform now, and he steps out on the bridge and says, "All right, Lieutenant Moon, we have a distress call to C2. Follow the coordinates specified in our emergency broadcast, and let's get this show on the road."
There is a brief flurry of activity in engineering as they were not expecting things to happen. Sort of happens as throughout the ship as the not lazy, but sort of like the casual sort of atmosphere is sort of turned, oh crap, we actually have to do something now. So the Reliant gets going, goes to warp. It isn't far away, just 6 hours away by travel to the point. The Reliant starts to approach the exterior, to approach the system, still technically at warp. Where do you want to drop out?
Well, basically, a reasonably safe distance to get a look, or dropping out of warp.
Okay, so you were dropping out outside the system on the very edge, basically, just as the main star's gravity starts to properly grab a hold of the ship. Just a little bit past the orbit of the furthest planetoid, and as you see, you get a very strong as you land. You get a very strong, clearly Federation pulse of a distress signal coming from the inner planets.
So, distress call is coming from the inner planets. Is it on one of the planets or in orbit? Is there any sort of proximity that we can specify there?
Okay, so as you start looking at the system, the arrangement of the system, there's 3 outer gas planets, an inner asteroid belt, and then 3 harder rocky planets, sort of very similar to Mercury, Earth, and Venus in that order. So the distress call is clearly coming from the second planet. Basic, just passive scans pick up a Class M planet, but there is also something strange about it. There's sort of like a gaseous anomaly sort of coming around the planet as well. Sort of like a red sort of nebula that is just sort of orbiting with the planet.
Okay, so Setsa is going to be doing some long-range scans of the system, looking for any signs of hostile activity, specifically any signs of additional ships, and then also the gaseous anomaly.
Okay, so let's do a reasoned science for detecting any kind of ships.
Alright, I don't think any focuses would apply. So... Two successes.
2 successes, that's enough. You pick up the warp trail of what appears to be the U.S.S. Cerberus, but no other vessels. There's no signs of any other warp travel or iron trails or any kind of starship movement apart from what was the U.S.S. Cerberus, which does appear to head towards the second planet.
Setzer raises a hand and calls out on the bridge.
I'm not seeing anything in the system that would indicate hostile activity or anything beyond the gaseous anomaly that looks out of place, and the warp trail of the Cerberus appears to intersect with the second planet. So it looked like it done crashed.
The warp trail intersects with the planet. That's more than just a crash. That's more like a vaporization.
So it's it's warped into the system, then sort of like an iron trail from the impulse and the general thrusters that actually take it all the way to the planet.
Never mind, that makes more sense.
And Gravenathan says, alright, well, we could simply follow them and likely run into the same issue, so let's get a handle of what that anomaly cloud is.
Alright, give me an insight science for the anomaly.
2 successes.
Alright, so you do get a good idea. The signal from the Cerberus is rather a bit too clear. There should at least be some kind of attenuation loss and maybe a little bit of deterioration in the quality of the audio, but everything is a bit too clear, crisp. It's almost like you're standing right next to it. Setzer finds that the field is not only sort of enhancing the energy of things around it, as in enhancing the signal strength and the clarity of the distress call, but there's some kind of element where it's how it's doing this is it's sort of affecting the physics of the local area, and through that traditional thrusters and impulse engines are going to be quite funky, and that's probably the cause of the crash.
All right, Setzer relays this information and says,
You're muted, Duncan.
Ah, damn it. I did the wrong button even though I've got everything set up right. Anyway, Setzer says,
Yeah, so it does appear that the ship encountered an anomaly and that disrupted its systems, amplifying things where they shouldn't be amplified, and that's also why we're receiving the distress call clearly, despite range and planetary degradation. So it appears that we should not come in close contact with the planet until we have the engineering team make appropriate modifications to our gear, and we should also make sure that we test this out using probes and other small craft.
Graves nods and says, alright, very good. Let's get Rick here on those right away. Also, let's have Chorog assist with that, since small craft operations would definitely be his area of expertise. In general, though, let's have the medical team standing by as well to be able to assist any wounded that may be aboard the U.S.S. Cerberus, and let's just try to find a way to recover it. Also, Kara, if you want to go help, definitely feel free.
Yeah, alright. I'll go make sure nobody scratches my babies. She stands up and heads for the shuttle bay.
Can I get Setzer to do also another, say, insight science?
Setzer doing good tonight. She's got another 2 successes.
Okay, so in addition to the the distress call, which is Federation standard and sort of automatically detected and relayed. From the second planet, there are clear signs of radio broadcast communication coming from the planet. There is another. This is almost another first contact situation.
Setsa's hand shoots up and she says,
Also, we have radio traffic from the planet, so it appears that we also have a pre-warp first contact scenario on our hands as well. Yeah.
Graves just blinks, looks at Setsa. Setsa shrugs. Graves sighs and says, all right. Yeah, let's go ahead. Hopefully not have to deal with that too much, but let's have also Eli standing by in case we need to do any infiltration of pre-warp civilizations based on physical appearances. In the meantime, let's go ahead and try to get what we can of the radio transmissions, cultural information, language information, stuff like that. General lay of the land, as it were.
Alright, can I get Churog to do an insight? Let's go reason engineering.
Alright. There we go.
That's one success for Choro.
Okay, and I'm gonna give him the engineering team's free success. Just a sec. You see? One Cerberus.
Cricket.
I don't know, Baz is doing something.
Yeah, Baz had to attend to something, so we are filling the dead time. That will surely be edited out.
All right, well,
We can say anything.
Okay, since we're
Sure as
filling
heck
dead
give him
time,
something to edit.
Trog has been in his quarters this whole time, working on repairing and rebuilding his new disruptor pistol that had not been working correctly. When he received a summons to head to the shuttle bay to go on the away mission, Trog packs his usual away mission kit and heads to the shuttle bay, where he meets Kara by the shuttle.
She looks at him carrying all his gear and just kind of stares at him for a minute and says, "Hold up, Space Cowboy. We gotta alter the shuttle first. There's some kind of weird anomaly thing."
Alright, sorry about that. Housemate came in. Had to talk to him.
No worries.
Alright, Churog, with the assistance of the rest of the engineering team, you make some modifications and try, but with the sensor readings that you got from Setsa, you don't think that you can find something that'll work both in normal space and what is in the area affected by the anomaly. However, as energy is almost like enhanced here, maybe you could do something with maybe the transporter would work better.
Kara actually looks over and says, "Second option, we go ahead and do that, and we use the tractor beam to get across the threshold both ways. In other words, we tractor beam push the shuttle into the anomaly, fly down, land, do whatever, fly back up, and then use the tractor beam to pull back out of the anomaly."
We're going to be doing that. We should probably reinforce the tractor emitters, just in case.
I still like the idea better than transport, personally.
Yeah, looking at these readings, I don't think running the transporter through that would be a good idea. We might turn up on the planet inside out or something. I don't want to risk that.
Alright, so there is, sure, give me a control engineering check.
Okay.
2 successes.
Alrighty then, with that you're able to sort of refirm up the tractor beam to make it bit more accurate, so that when the tractor beam does lock onto the shuttle, that it won't bring any of the anomalous material with it.
Kara hits her comm badge and says, Captain, we got good news and bad news. What you want first?
Let's go with the bad news.
The bad news is we can't wire up the shuttle in such a way as to work both inside the cloud and outside the cloud.
All right, so how'd you solve it?
That's the good news. We don't have to. We can use the tractor beam to push the shuttle into the cloud, fly down, do whatever we need to do, fly back up to the edge of the cloud, and use the tractor beam to pull the shuttle back out.
Great. We'll also have John standing by in case we need.
Righto. I don't know. Is there anything else you? I mean, we're going in blind. Do you have any information?
Well, that's what I was hoping our analysis of the radio frequencies would be able to provide, especially if those are containing visual information. We could disguise the away team.
Are those from the same planet?
Second planet.
Okay, sorry. I must have missed that during the briefing. Oh, wait, we didn't have a briefing.
No, we just kind of went at this. So, yeah, I'm going to get to work to making sure that that analysis coordinated, and Eli's got what he needs in case we need to doctor some people up. And, yeah, I'll signal once the away team's ready to go.
All right, just run everything past Gural and Setsa. In the meantime, I'm just going to come back to the bridge.
Sounds good. Graves out.
Kara shrugs at Chorog. No flying yet.
So you do with the examination of the signals, Setsa and Goral are able to pass audio and standard video signals. They're old enough that, I mean, you know the various ways that pre-warp civilizations can encode signals and audio and video into that kind of radio traffic. So you're able to get the video up pretty easily, and there is some variation in terms of body type, colors, but it's pretty much your standard humanoid. Maybe standard humanoid with like red, some green, some blues coloring. But as you start looking at it, you see some people flying. The thing is, you're not certain if it's just standard visual effects or if there's more to it than that.
Kara looks at the report and looks back to Graves from the bridge. The hell is this, a planet of superheroes?
No idea, but hey, they might have an easier time of getting some, jetpack, hoverpack technology working with the field. I mean, just if everything's getting a little bit of a boost, then maybe it's not so difficult. Or they're pretty...
We probably should go down with some gravity repulsor belts or something like that, just in case it turns out to be a natural ability and everybody asks why we're not doing it.
Yeah, let's go ahead and have that. Definitely have John subtly at the scene too, in case any additional equipment's needed on the fly or additional personnel. So definitely for this way team, you're good at the diplomacy as well as the engineering side of it as well. So let's go ahead and do our standard group. Let's take DB as well. He's good at improvising on the scene, and Setsa, and I'd like Grawl on the scene, but that definitely isn't going to work. So let's have Grawl on the comms with Setsa so they can coordinate on the social analysis.
Roger that. I guess I'll head down to Eli and let him cut off my tail and ears and turn me blue.
Yeah. Should also go down to comfort Setsa. Never likes it when this happens.
She's not the only one. But hey, you need somebody to fly the shuttle, so guess that's me.
I mean, you could stay on the shuttle if you really wanted to.
Nah. If something weird's going to be going down, I'm going to go ahead and help with it. Alright, so go ahead, I guess, and deliver the requirements to engineering, and the rest of us will go down and have a fun makeover. I sure hope this doesn't end like last time where I became a deflated beach ball.
Oh boy. We'll see if Eli can do something with Chorog.
We
I
could always
reckon I
just
look
put.
lousy in blue.
I was just saying, we could always put Chorog in one of those racing outfits, and he just never opens the helmet.
I have my own helmet, thank you very much.
Gotta
Alright,
blend in with the locals.
Kara just grins and then heads for the turbo lift to head down to sick bay for plastic surgery.
All right. So, who is going on the away team precisely?
Okay, so it would be difficult for Rick. So let's go ahead and have one of Rick's engineering people. They're sort of second command of engineering. Definitely, we'll see about, I think Eli, Setsa, Kara, DB, and Chorog.
Oh, send an Eli. That means that Nurse Ged gets to do the surgery on him.
I'm not doing surgery.
Yeah, like he mentioned that we could use hollow emitters. So long as those work, then let's just go with that option.
Oh, hey,
I
that's
wasn't
way
quite
better
sure
than
if
the time
hollow
we had to
emitters
go
were.
to the Oompa Loompa planet.
Yeah.
In that case, Kara heads down to the engineering lab to get the necessary hollow emitters, and is definitely much more into this plan now.
Setsa is too.
So is Chorog.
All right.
So Eli's going?
Yeah, Eli's going.
Alright, he's getting the hollow.
Otherwise, yeah. I mean, option B would be to send, if we've got him on board, send a Checkers with him too.
He can't act normal on the ship. Are you sure you want him on an away team?
I was saying that out of character. Like, I mean, it is one of the
I was saying that out of
options
character
where
too, but there you go.
Yeah, so definitely, like, it's one of those options where it's like, if you need to deal with a left field situation, that's kind of the logic in sending DB in there as well. It's like, well, we could send Starfleet personnel, but at the same time, we kind of want people who think differently than Starfleet, because maybe that'll resonate more with the locals. But at any rate, so Eli, Chorog, DB, Kara, Setsa, and Rick's number 2. They're humanoid.
All right. So Rick sends off a Nathan Madison. He is second in command. Who's more of a he has more of a small craft experience like Chorog, and pretty much just hands out these holographic emitters, which based on the video of sort of like mix and match and sort of like use the computer to sort of pick different elements from different faces and put them on this one face. So to try to not copy someone, but as long as it's same rough features and nothing particularly stands out. So you all get to choose a different color that your body is as you all board the shuttlecraft, and so this is a 2-stage process. First, you have to get out of the hangar bay, which involves the landing tractor beams controlling. So instead of the shuttlecraft engines lifting off and taking out, the tractor beams from within the hangar craft pick you up and send you forward. And the ship's own tractor beams lock on. So it could have someone try a control security check for the ship. Let's say,
Captain Graves. Actually, let's have Larissa do it.
That works.
I mean,
Have Checkers do it.
Oh, check. He's tending things. But it's a ship roll anyway, so it's just going to be a security, and then what was the other stat?
security control for the ship, for Larissa, and then weapons security for the ship.
Okay. So security is Larissa gets 2 successes, and then for the ship, 3 successes.
So the ship only adds
Load
one
like butter.
dice, but it still gets
2 successes.
You get 2 momentum.
We have 4 momentum.
Trying to do the command to add momentum. But it's
Meanwhile,
not-
on the shuttle, Kara plays around with her hollow emitter for a minute and ends up with a wildly asymmetrical face with a nose in the middle. But she just kind of looks over at Charog. Hey, look, I'm Picasso.
Trog looks up from his controls. Ugh. I like that look on you.
You uncultured swine. Kara resets it back to normal and just kind of waits for control of the ship again.
Trog looks back over at Kara. What's a Picasso?
A famous Terran artist, famous for doing surrealist works.
I'll take your word for it. As he fiddles with his own hollow emitter and comes up with what can be best described as misshapen green fellow. I kind of like this look.
You look like an Orion that's been in a traffic accident.
Thank you. Perfect.
Thatsa is a elegant blue lady. A little bit more keeping her facial structure and appearances, but just in a rather more ornate variant of their attire and sitting in the back, just reading a data pad.
All right. Eventually, the tractor beam locking on strongly, and it pushes the shuttlecraft quickly towards the planet at a strong angle. The shuttlecraft continues on for a moment and enters beyond the orbit of its single moon. It approaches the orbit of its single moon when it starts to pass through into the anomalous material, and with that, the lights of the thing just sort of flicker as the engines sort of automatically start up, and Kara now has full control of the ship.
Kara, looks over the controls and says, "All right, everybody, sit down, shut up, and don't yell." And she turns the craft into a steep dive toward the nearest wilderness area that she can get near the recorded position of the distress signal. If all else fails, she veers towards caution and goes to an unoccupied area.
All right, so first of all, yes, they also do have hair, which is just as vibrant, just as unusual for humans. Sort of like, it is pretty much the traditional kind of superhero kind of colors. But as Kara approaches the area where the signal comes from, there is clearly a city close by to it. It's about still at like 30-40 kilometers away from the city, but with clear radio capabilities, then they likely have some kind of radar.
I can't help but feel like a Federation shuttlecraft would already be radar-proof, but Kara will just swing in a wide arc around the city to get where she's going and avoid anything that looks built up.
All right, give me a control con for flying casual.
2 successes.
Okay, that is definitely good enough. Whatever radar, or there is no response to you as you come by and approach the scene where the Cerberus is crashed. You clearly see the Cerberus. It is a very large vessel, but it's sort of half buried. It's like the crust of the earth is sort of like cracked, and it's gone through into like a section below, you can see this billowing out of some kind of smoke from the edges of the thing of where the Cerberus has crash landed in. There is it's certainly, the sensors are definitely picking up like a hollow, like a giant what's the phrase? Yeah, it's a thin layer of crust, but there's like a giant hole underneath it. So there is that clear signs of debris, but not all of it is visible. Most of it's probably underground.
Kara double taps her badge. Captain, we got a real mess down here. They definitely totally crashed into the planet. I don't know about survivors. I don't know how we're going to get them out of here. I don't know how we'd destroy the wreck if we couldn't get them out of here. All of a sudden, this has turned into a gigantic mess. And they've caused enough damage down here that if the local populace hasn't been on the scene yet, I'll eat my shirt.
All right. Get a handle of the situation. Just priority is the crew. We can have John jump down to the photon torpedo if we really need to. But let's first get a handle of the people and then figure out if there's been any contact so far.
Roger that, Captain. I'll set down near the wreck and see if we can find anybody.
Charles Taps is risking it. We should also get a team in there to assess the status of the warp core. If it's leaking, that can cause a tremendous problem.
Yeah, I'll just send John down to take the warp core out once you guys get a handle of the situation down there.
Let's go ahead and have our engineering partner look at it first. If we can get the thing flying again, that'd be great, and we need the warp core for that.
If not, we're going to need to get John down here to get rid of the antimatter pods. If they get unstable, the entire planet will go.
In any event, let's go find someone to talk to. Kara turns the shuttle and goes to land it as close as she can to the wreck.
Once we land this thing, we should probably try to cover it with, some kind of local flora and fauna to try to hide our presence. That's what you need is some curious onlookers finding a shuttle that don't belong here.
Kara looks at Chorog, and then out the window at the massive, unhideable wreck, and then back at Chorog.
Just an idea.
Kara has a slight giggle and just goes ahead and sets the shuttle down. I'll lock the doors while we're out. For the moment, you may want to go ahead and turn off your holodisguises. We don't want any crew that we might find from the Cerberus thinking we're locals.
Aw, but I just figured mine out.
Okay, leave it on, but the point is be able to turn it off to at least verify who you are.
Okay. And by the way, Daniel, all he's managed to figure out on the flight over is he looks exactly the same, except his skin is kind of red.
Just act casual.
Yes, as we casually explore this wrecked ship.
And with that, let's take a break. Reliant has sent a shuttle down to the surface of the planet, modified to work within the anomalous gaseous area that surrounds the planet. They've come to the remains of the U.S.S. Cerberus that has crashed directly into the planet, and most of which is below surface. So the shuttle lands down, and they are now ready to get out. From the immediate area scans, there doesn't seem to be any signs of life within, say, a couple of 100 meters.
Kara nods and just kind of heads toward the ship looking for some sort of ingress. If they don't find anybody alive, then the main thing they need to do is sabotage the ship to utterly destroy it.
The planet looks rather Earth-like as you step out and look out. Trees, grass, sky, even though it has the red tinge from the anomalous gash, it's still very reminiscent of the radiants are still very this is what Earth would be like if it had a red sky, pretty much. And everything, it just rather seems normal and quiet.
Kara nods and continues looking for a way into the ship.
We should take a soil sample near the ship to make sure there's no antimatter leakage or contamination.
If there was antimatter leakage, you could tell from the neutrinos. I mean, it's antimatter. It instantly destroys itself.
There could be any other kind of contamination as well. If we're going to try to clean this up, might as well make sure that the ship's intact and not leaking anything.
Right. I'll go look at dirt.
Better safe than sorry, you know what I mean?
Sorry, Setsa.
Alright.
Setsa looks at the dirt.
Yeah, that does seem normal. But as Setsa's scanning it, there is a slight rumble. You hear this loud but low grumbling growl come from the other side of from the other side of the Cerberus. He feel like a thud coming through as something is coming closer. Something large.
Kara sighs, pulls out her Type 1 phaser, and just says, "Nothing is ever easy. Even when it's hard, it's never going to go the easiest way of hard."
As you prepare yourself, you see coming from around the side, you see this large dog sort of wreathed in flame from the edges of the fur, sort of covering around. It's not burning. The fur is resistant, and you see three dog heads on this body. As each head breathes in and out, you see like a burst of fire coming out, as if it breathes fire.
Kara taps her comm badge. "Captain, either this anomaly is really weird, or I've been on drugs. We've got a Cerberus down here."
A Cerberus on the Cerberus.
No, near it, though.
All right. Well, let's pay close attention to our fantasy thoughts. Make sure things don't get out of hand for some previous Starfleet missions. And what's the shuttlecraft called?
I don't know. I didn't have a name for the shuttlecraft.
That's probably for the best.
We haven't devised a naming scheme for the ship.
All right.
And I'm saying all this out of character.
Well, basically, if it's none, that's going to make Graves feel better. His implication was maybe it'll spawn something.
Well, we don't have a naming convention, so for right now, let's just say it's unnamed. It is Shuttle 1.
Okay.
Right, so Graves will say to that. All right, so the worst that can happen is a big number 1 appears, so you're probably fine with that. But, yeah, John's down there, so if you need any special assistance, he's available.
Kara just kind of looks around. Does anybody know any more about Greek mythology than I do?
It's a Cerberus. It's the guardian of the underworld.
I'm more into Roman mythology, but yeah, I think what Chorog says is about right.
I have studied some ancient Earth mythologies just because it's an interest of mine.
So John is on the scene. John is on the scene and is currently throwing Pokeballs at it. Just little toy Pokeballs, but he's trying to catch it.
John?
Not helping.
Yeah, don't do that. Maybe get some dog treats or something.
It don't want dog treats.
Well, it don't want to talk either, it don't seem like. At least it hasn't attacked us as of yet.
Yeah, it sort of growls at you as it slowly comes to, but stops as the grumble turns into words. Suddenly, the form of the Cerberus sort of shrinks down to the form of a person, the form of the captain of the U.S.S. Cerberus, Captain Oliver Smith.
There's a long, slow blink from Kara.
Did you get superpowers?
Well, it seems that the whatever caused the crash has enhanced holographic capabilities, and well, is I am feeling definitely different than I was before. So my holo emitter, and he sort of taps on his to the basically a Starfleet Delta badge thing on his shoulder, was able to replicate not only this giant form but sounds and the seems to actually made fire. I've been able to keep the locals scared away from the ship, acting as its guardian, but we do have about only 100. About half of the crew survived the crash, but well, we're at least here.
Kara nods and looks back at the shuttle, and then she just turns off her disguise for a bit and says, "Yeah, well, I don't think."
All right, that's probably good. I mean, John's not having any troubles for jumping, so we could just have him ferry people 2 at a time. That should. I mean, it's going to take a little bit, but not too long. I mean, it would be possible to pull everyone up that way. But if you can get the ship moving.
Yeah, I was going to say, maybe do that with the most injured, and let's have a look and see if the ship can be repaired, and if it can't, have the engineering team maybe working on that transporter tech to get through this nonsense, if they can.
All right.
I mean, I have an idea.
All right, what do you got, Eli?
It doesn't have to be 2 at a time. You could just put him on the shuttle, and he can just transport the shuttle back and forth, with his... That's at least 6 people, so it's less jumps at the very least.
Yeah, I mean, you could also do that with, just like a cargo plate. I mean, it doesn't have to be space-worthy. So, yeah, that's some number of people at a time. He's just not going to be able to pull everyone up at once.
Anyway, Kara just kind of nods and looks to Captain Oliver and just says, "All right, we'll have time for mourning later, but right now we need to deal with the Cerberus. If we can get it flying, so much the better. If not, we'll have to scuttle the ship."
There is also concerned about whatever we crashed into, where this is just... there is more down there beneath the surface than I think we're ready, and if we were to completely remove the Cerberus, then we'd be, well, removing the cork, so to speak, and whatever is down there would... Because this gas is... I don't know what effect any of this would have. We don't have access to any of our equipment, and the tricorders, well, they're...
Tetsuo raises a hand.
So let's stop for a second. Let's stop. So you're saying a gas might escape if you move the Cerberus or destroy it?
Well,
I mean...
Not only the gas, but, I mean, this is a completely... the caverns below are extremely vast. We were able to detect that before, well, we crashed, and there might be other things down there.
All right, well, that's something, but we can work on the transporter solution to take care of that. Just basically perform surgery to pull up bits of the Cerberus and then transport down bits to Felon where it was.
Kara just nods and says, "Either way, that's Graves' problem. Let's go see about your people. Let's do that first, and Graves can figure out how he's going to get us out of this mess."
All right, well, they're this way. Come on. We've got a little there's a cave about 300 meters this way.
Roger Dodger. And without bothering to put her disguise back on, she just follows him.
John has also called down the other baby tardigrades to help out with the rescue operation. So they are ferrying people up and down as John also accompanies the group.
We're going to need to replicate so many spores.
So eventually, initial the worst injured of the crew were sent first, triaged. Most just have some minor injuries, maybe a sprain, like a splint required. Some are only a couple a bit more serious, but there is still some reasonable that haven't been rather affected. The inertial dampers, or they were strapped in or something, where they're able to get away relatively without injury. So eventually the remainder of the crew, apart from Captain Smith, obviously, is evacuated back up to the Reliant through the shuttle and John's spore jumps.
Okay, she looks around. Well, I'm not really an engineer, but it seems like the next thing we should probably do is check to see exactly how much of the star drive remains, or if that entire section of the ship has just been crushed.
If that's the case, then the warp core might be unreachable if the star drive has been crushed.
Yeah, exactly. On the other hand, if the saucer took most of the impact...
Well, I mean, if the warp core's been crushed, I mean, the ship would have already been... Well, it would have already exploded. I mean, you lose containment, and yeah, there's no middle ground.
This is true, but there still might not be enough of the star drive left to get the thing back in the air.
There at least has to be enough of power system there, power running through the ship so that the containment doesn't fall. It is definitely damaged, but it is accessible, barely.
Yeah, Kara leads the group down that way to see just how bad it is. Jeffrey's tubes. Everybody loves a Jeffrey's tubes.
There
Setsa in her fancy outfit.
It depended. Not all the Jeffrey tubes might be accessible if there's been catastrophic damage.
Yeah, it is a mix of damage to the Jeffrey tubes and to the standard hallways. You're going to have to sort of go through some Jeffrey tubes, some hallways. There's panels dangling from the ceiling, some with lights, cords just sort of falling in the middle of the way, some various plasma leaks that were there but have been clamped down. Scorch marks, some blood. It's very worse for wear in terms of everything, but it is barely navigable to engineering. You make your way. Engineering is slightly crumpled, and a lot of the consoles have blown. But the core, the fundamental warp core, is still pulsing.
Kara just gestures. I'm not a scientist and I'm not an engineer. If you can make it fly, I can make it out of here, but that's up to you all.
Well, first thing we need to do is examine the dilithium crystal articulation frame, see if it's even capable of producing a reaction. If there is any kind of damage to that chamber, then we're SOL as far as getting this ship in the air.
Kara nods and will take directions as required, but again, she's not an engineer.
All right,
that would be Baz's character.
Yeah, can I get Churog to assist on a roll here? Let's do reason engineering from Churog.
Okay.
like one success apiece for Ensign Nathan. Well, actually, I guess it would be Lieutenant, at least Nathan, and Chorog.
Alright, so there's good news and bad news. What do you want first?
Give me the good news first.
The the good news is that it hasn't. Containment is locked down, and there's not any chance of immediate explosion. The bad news is that there isn't. You're not going to be able to get the warp core to work again.
Kara nods and sighs. Okay, so now the two options we have left are blow it up, which is bad, and leave it here, which is bad.
Well, there's a third option. Just because the warp core is incapable of producing warp drive doesn't mean that the impulse reactors aren't offline. We might be able to get them to work, depending if the fusion reactors are still online.
Kara shrugs. I really wish I'd paid attention in engineering class.
Daniel.
Nathan, can you go over to one of those engineering consoles and assess the functionality of the ship's fusion reactor, see if we get the impulse drive working?
Alright, I'll take a look. DB? Alright, I'll take a look.
At this point, Daniel, who wasn't following along with the group, finally catches up, now in his suit, just kind of like looking around and checking a scanner that he's kind of pointing in different directions.
Kara just kind of takes up a spot watching the door. With everybody else dealing with engineering problems, she feels a little superfluous now.
Alright, can I get DB to do... let's do Insight Security. Okay, one success is enough for DB. There is, you pick up large explosions of energy outside of the ship. Two life forms that seem to be moving around.
Hey guys, I don't know if it's just wildlife or not, but something's moving around outside the ship.
Great.
Eli and I can go take care of that.
Kara nods. Let me know if you need backup.
Right on, well, we'll bring John.
Be careful, you two.
Adios.
And while they're gone, Nathan speaks up and says, well, fusion power is about 50%. I think we can get power to the impulse drives.
50% is a good starting point. Let's see what other kind of unnecessary systems we can shunt into it.
Wait, is the fusion reaction antimatter based?
No, it's nuclear fusion.
That would not be my area of expertise.
Yeah, a completely separate system from the warp drive.
It's also the reason when the warp drive goes offline, the ship doesn't go entirely dark.
What do we got left in the backup? What do we got left in the auxiliary batteries? We could transfer some power from the auxiliary batteries into the impulse systems. I'd like to see that number at least 70%.
Yeah, we do have auxiliary systems that have the battery backup. There is some kind of blockage, but I think we should be able to link that in without too much hassle.
Alright, get started working on that, and let's see what other kind of power systems we don't need on this bucket to get this thing back into orbit.
I hate to say it, but phasers is probably one of those systems that can go.
Not a bad idea. You work on getting the auxiliary batteries tied in. I'm going to see what we can get. I'm going to see how much juice is left in the phasers that we can pull into the fusion reactors.
All right, and let's jump to the people who have just gone out to see what's happening. As you crawl through the remains and come out of Cerberus, of the U.S.S. Cerberus, you see two of the local inhabitants, the pre-warp civilization, are literally levitating before you, and you hear them sort of shouting at each other. It is very much sort of, I will stop you, like the kind of, superhero dialogue. I will, one of them says, I will take this power now that the Cerberus is gone, and I will make you all kneel before my power. And, for the others to go and respond, there are many beside me who will stand to stop you. You will not see this power, for you will die here. And you see them sort of like launch at each other, literally laser eyes from both of them spark out and strike to this like glow sparkling kind of like a jewel as they interact and prevent each other from attacking the other side. You are just witnessing the start of what appears to be a battle between a superhero and a supervillain.
Okay, just waiting on Baz.
Yeah, I'm back. What did you last see?
All right. Well, Setsa said, "Hey there, could you stop fighting over my movie set?"
They don't seem to respond much. Though one of them, the villain, sort of looks to you, and there is a burst a brief burst of energy that lands at your feet. This is mine, not yours. Stay away if you value your life.
It's a movie set. What are you doing?
You think such a feeble attempt at deception would fool me? Ha ha!
Well, yeah, it's supposed to be realistic looking. I mean, we have this. I've spent. Alright. This is a lot to deal with for, a trained director as myself, but. Do I have to call local authorities? I mean, are you local authorities?
She points to the other individual.
This is a very delicate piece of art I've got here, and I don't want you mucking it about. It takes a lot to get the distraction to look just so.
My name is Justica, and I will stop this Enervon who will, from the power within, we know this landed here not long ago, and this is not a set, so you will vacate these premises for your own safety. Even if you are who you are, it is best to go. I will hold him off.
I'm not going anywhere. This is my property.
She stands in her haughtiest attitude possible.
Eli has brought his rifle, by the way. I want to shoot the supervillain.
Sets a size. Oh, is this the most Nagat?
No, that's Checkers. Eli has the Kelvin rifle, the phaser rifle.
Would that? Oh, yeah, I'd just say go for it, and just say it's
just go for stun.
Yeah, just go for stun.
They have laser eyes. I feel like gun is least of our worries.
You could always lie and said it came from my eyes when you weren't looking.
Right, I'm going to shoot at the bad guy.
Do a control security check for me.
Yes, hold on a moment.
If this doesn't work, Sets has got something.
And they are wearing capes. It is full on superhero costumes. Jessica has this giant J, and Nervon has this doesn't have a knee, it's just sort of like a big sort of boom kind of motif.
I did it.
Yeah, you got one success.
Okay, they're not enough for a good hit with a rifle. They're just moving too fast for your rifle shot to land.
Sets his size and says, "All right, well, use my magnificent power to make him disappear." And she points to John, and John looks around and sees if he can put on like a bath towel, but no. So he'll go ahead and try to spore jump on the back of the villain and just spore jump him to some other location on the planet, and then spore jump back out of sight.
All right, give me a control security for John as well.
Ooh. I'd say if his spore jumping is definitely going to be a focus of his once I pull up the big sheets of that. It's either 1 or 2 successes.
Yeah, I'm going to count that as a 2 success. So 2 successes. So you do successfully transport the villain. Where do you want to send him?
What's the geographic sort of layout of the planet? Are there any like really just out of the way boony type areas?
South Pole.
Put him on an island.
I mean, he can fly, so
So he's gonna transport the supervillain to the equivalent to the Falkland Islands on this planet.
All right. So it is. There are some islands that are a good sort of let's say 500 miles. 800 kilometers away. More. Okay. Okay, there are some islands that do fit that bill that you can send him that are up, in fact, up near the Arctic Ocean, up near the Arctic polar regions. So it is cold and isolated enough. It'll take a long while for him to go. And perhaps, I don't know, depending on how their powers work, maybe he'll get away, maybe not.
Yeah, we'll see. So, so John does his spore jump. He spore jumps back out of sight, and Setsa just looks to the Justicar and says,
"I'm very capable of defending myself, thank you."
And with that, and Jessica sort of goes, all right. And with that, he slowly lowers himself down to the ground and walks up. It is a pleasure to meet you, Miss.
They have enough information about their names, so.
Yeah.
Yeah. So would Seth's actual name sound out of place?
So there's 2 ways you can do it. You could give a superhero-esque name, or what would be her real-life name, depending in this world.
Okay, so she's gonna give a superhero name. Okay, wait a sec. Yes, yeah.
Yes, hello. I am Setsiatica, and I thank you for, doing your best to supervise here. But yeah, I mean, you did a really good job of trying to prepare this set for our big shoot, so hopefully we won't be here too long.
I do hope you are aware of the demon Cerberus that protects this site. I presume you did the same?
Not quite. The demon Cerberus is indeed a special effect. It is, special power associated with mine. He's off taking a bit of a rest right now, but, I mean, it's a nice job. I mean, not quite sure how he does it, but he's very good at those illusions, which is why he's in the special effects industry.
You see him sort of like just sort of blink at a while. The demon Cerberus is merely an illusion.
Yeah, well, we didn't want people, investigating this place like it was a real spaceship relic. I mean, that would have drawn all sorts of attention, and we're trying to have this as a surprise, for the movie coming out. So I do hope we can keep this a little under wraps because it's very critical to the marketing campaign. You see.
Well, very well, Miss Setsika. I shall keep your secret and the secret of the Cerberus. Just do be aware that there will be others like our friend that you have dispatched who will try and, well, let's say, be just as aggressive as our friend here.
Yes.
Yes, and do my best to keep them at bay, but it's, well, quite worth it for what we're putting together here.
Give me a presence command check for me, please.
Crap. Okay. Come on, Setsa. 1 success. That's crap.
Very well, and he'll hand you like a little business card. If there is any need you have of such as one of myself who to protect or to assist you, then here, take this card. You'll be able to use it to reach me.
Oopsies. Setsa says.
Thank you. It's much appreciated.
Well, seeing as everything is now under control, I will bid you adieu. Have a good movie.
Excelsior!
And with that, Jessica starts flying away.
Setsa just looks to Eli.
Eli just looks back. He's not. He's out of sight from where he would have been shooting, but he's not wearing the hollow emitter. He's just sort of giving her a look.
Setsa walks over and says,
Alright, well, we should probably keep a lookout here. Definitely have John on hand to do the disappearing trick. Maybe even Skip or two for backup.
Maybe. I fear that guy is going to be back. He could fly.
I
give
put
it
him
an hour.
on a really far island, and there were sheep and nothing. At the other side of the planet.
Do we know how fast he can fly at a maximum?
If he comes back, I put him back.
I mean, you could just put him on a nearby breathable moon or something. That'd be funny.
Yeah. I think it's funnier to put him with the sheep again. Maybe he'll make friends.
Alright, well, I'm going back to work on the injured that are sent to the shores.
Oh, that could turn out bad.
It could.
I mean,
But yeah,
actually, if he's out of the field, he wouldn't have his powers necessarily.
Eli slings his rifle, and he's gonna go back to helping whatever injured are left down here. Penny.
Just give me
I
a
think we brought them all up.
just give me a let's say control medicine, just to give us a quick overview of how everything happened.
I think it went pretty well.
It did go very well. You were, even without support, you were able to triage and deal with the most immediate life-threatening criticals and stabilize them enough to get shuttled back aboard. In the meantime, back in within the bowels of the Cerberus. Churog, can I get you to do control engineering?
Okay.
Setsa, meanwhile, is going to be looking through the costumes, and she's picking out a superhero costume for herself right now.
Okay, 1 success, 1 complication.
So the complication is that you've succeeded. You're able to get some power, but many of the systems were already non-functional, so there wasn't any power going to them anyway. You only received like a 5% boost towards the power ready for using the impulse drives.
Alright, well, we have 55%. I have an idea, I just wish John was here.
And in the meantime, with the auxiliary batteries, Nathan is able to add another 10%. So you're at 65%. Still not quite enough to get the impulse engines functioning, but getting close.
If John were here, I'd have him spore jump back to Reliant and get us a power converter to give us a little extra juice.
Speaking of the Reliant, can't they just help with the tractor beam or something? Just kind of take the load off the engines down here?
The interference field is preventing that.
Ah.
Chorog taps his wrist comm. This is Chorog. John Tardigrade, can you spore jump in here, please? I have an idea.
Yeah.
He spore jumps in and quickly says,
There were superheroes and supervillains, and they were fighting, and then I sent the bad guy to a sheep farm in the Far Islands.
Cool.
Kara does a slow blink, just says, "I'm not paid enough for this," and continues watching the door.
John, I don't suppose.
John,
I don't suppose you could spore jump back to Reliant and pick up a small power converter from engineering. We need it to tie into the systems.
Easy peasy.
Yeah, he spore jumps, and then spore jumps back if there aren't any complications.
No complications.
So John spore jumps back, and he's got the power of Huey.
Thank you, John.
Alright, so I gotta go get a cape.
Yes, you go get cake.
Cape. No, for superhero, because I'm going to be fighting them.
Alright, let's get this power converter hooked into the power systems and see if we can get the systems up to at least 70%.
So John is going to go ahead and spore jump back to Reliant, tell the baby tardigrades what's happening, and they're all going to dress as superheroes and spore jump back, and they're going to be the security detail for the Cerberus.
Oh, I can't see how this is going to go wrong.
Kara, meanwhile, is trying to rack her brains for ways to plug the gap once they pull the Cerberus up, but she's not coming up with much, other than beam down lots and lots of junk.
That's basically what Graves has already been working on.
DB, do you want to say that?
Okay, Daniel's been scanning below the caverns below to figure out what the heck's going on down there. Because someone mentioned gas at some point, and that's one of the reasons why he went and put on his suit. He just wants to figure out what's going on.
Okay, give me insight, and I'll accept science, engineering, or security.
Yeah, because I don't think there's enough power left in the Cerberus to use the Cerberus' scanners to attempt to scan the caverns.
Oh no, he has the handheld scanner that he's using, plus there's whatever sensors are in his helmet and stuff.
What do you want me to roll to see if we can get this power converter?
Give me control engineering. For you, and then DB do the insight.
Wait, what am I rolling?
Insight, science, engineering, or security. Your choice.
Okay, 2 successes. I get the power converter tied in.
It brings it up to 69%. You're on the verge of success, but not quite enough.
Obligatory. Nice.
Nathan, do a quick power check. See if there's any other unnecessary power source being run on this ship right now that we can juice 1% out of.
All right. And with that, Nathan gets start to scan. While he's doing that, DB, you pick up. You do detect more like extra concentrated of the anomaly. It's like dense. It's the same readings that Setzer was getting aboard the ship, but more dense. More than that, you are detecting life forms down below. There are people living in a highly concentrated version of this gas.
Guys, before we take off, there's probably something you should all know. There's people down there, and, that cloud that was around the planet is also down there, but, like, times 10.
Well, I guess from what Oliver said, the first thing, but the people down there, that's great.
Eli taps his comm badge. John, can you get me down there?
Well, let's scan and make sure you don't need it.
Yes,
Make sure it's
indeed.
breathable. Make sure it's breathable air down there at least. I don't want you jumping down in some void where you're going to choke to death.
I can always just take a respirator. Yeah, or
You can
respirator
take me.
mask. You can come too. If there's injured down there, they might need a medic.
Sorry for talking over you.
Oh, it's alright.
Yeah, it's probably a good idea. You better go down there and see what's down there. I don't want to yank this ship out of the crust of this planet and that cave collapse.
Probably
It would be in our best interest.
I'll find a respirator mask quick.
Well, my meaning is that there's
there's-
people down there. I don't want to be responsible for killing those people when we yank this ship out of here.
That's also a concern.
All right. As you're having this conversation, Nathan picks up. We're pulling every bit of power that we can, boosting the output everything way I can think of. There's nothing aboard the Cerberus that we can use to boost the power.
Check the life support systems. If there's anything left in the life support systems.
Already pulling it.
Okay. Keep scanning and see if there's any small ounce of power we can pull out of somewhere.
Why not?
I'll try to scan as well. There's got to be some system that is still functioning that we can juice.
Why not just bring batteries down from Reliant and plug them in?
Well, the thing is that we already have one power converter hooked in. I don't want to overload the system. This ship has been through hell. I don't want a chance plugging too many things in the system that we blow out everything, and then we're really have a problem on our hands.
All right. So who is going to be sent at spore jumped underneath?
So it sounds like Eli and DB.
All right. So Eli and DB, you spore jump down. You find yourself in the middle of a vast underground rocky cavern. The air is thick with the vapor gas, far more dense than it is on the surface. It's like a thick fog, thick red fog. As you start to look around, you sense movement. These beings are large, larger than anything seen on top. Something is rushing towards you. And that is where we're going to have to end tonight's episode.
Dun dun dun.
Yay. Be continued.
We're in the super gas chambers. That sounded bad. I didn't say that out loud until I said it out loud.
Yeah. Place your bets now, people. Morlocks, Chuds, Molman.
Mothman.
Robots, zombies, robot zombies.
Robot zombie ninja pirates?
Double zombies, they came to life and then died again.
I think it's the Vikings.
Why does anyone
It's
put up with
probably
us?
Vikings.